Joining me now, Sanju Verma, the BJP's national spokesperson, Salman Soz, Congress's national spokesperson, Akshay Marathi, Aam Aadmi Party's spokesperson. Appreciate all of you joining us. Let's start, Sanju Verma, with you. You're in the government. The Prime Minister and the government prides itself on creating world-class infrastructure in our cities, talks about smart cities, and then we see what happened, those visuals horrifying at the Delhi airport and in other parts of the country, and it's not isolated. We've seen with the Pragati Maidan tunnel as well, not too long ago, leaks developing. How do you respond? Is this claim of world-class infrastructure jumla, as the opposition alleges, the government, the opposition saying this is criminal negligence?
Rajdeep, thank you for having me on your show. I will answer your very pertinent question, and before doing so, let me take the bull by the horns and address the elephant in the room. You asked me, is the claim of world-class infrastructure by the Modi government a jumla? Nahi ji, ye jumla nahi hai, Rajdeep ji, because let's be very clear. Beat the Navi Mumbai airport. The Shilanyas was done way back in 1988 by Rajiv Gandhi. Finally, this will become a reality thanks to the Modi government in March 2025. The Bogibeel Bridge in 2002 was when the construction started. It was completed by the Modi government in 2018. The Bhupen Hazarika Setu, the construction was started by the Congress-led UPA in 2011. It was finished by the Modi government in 2017. And I know you keep traveling to Mumbai on and off. The Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, one of the 12th longest sea bridges in the world, was conceived way back in 1972 by Pandit Nehru. It was brought to fruition by the double-engine Sarkar of Narendra Modi and the Shinde Sena and Fadnavis-led government. And then let's talk about
Can I bring you back though to what I asked you at the start, which is also accountability for what happens today? Lack of maintenance. Do you blame the private operator? Who do you blame? When things go wrong, like they did with the Pragati Maidan tunnel, or where they go wrong with the airport?
Can I answer?
Yeah, please do.
I heard you, Rajdeep. Can I answer? You are repeating the same facts. Yeah. I said I will answer your question. Why are you getting so impatient with me?
Please, please.
Yes, I will now tell you one thing. Yes, the T1 part of the roof that collapsed, the canopy that collapsed, first and foremost, condolences to the deceased and to the, kith and kin of the victims. I'm sure the government will do the needful in terms of not only fixing accountability, but ensuring that we don't have a repeat of what happened today. We all know that the T1 was inaugurated by the Manmohan Singh-led government way back in 2009. This was constructed by Larsen & Toubro, and the contract for maintenance was given to GMR. So should I point fingers at the Congress? Yes. Should I point fingers at GMR for shoddy maintenance? Yes. Should I partly blame L&T? Perhaps. Should Modi government also take the onus? Partially, yes. But I want to say one thing, and I'm not going to be hypocritical about it. Media should ask tough questions. Today you're asking the Modi government for accountability because of what happened at the T1 in Delhi. But I don't see any accountability. When the Minto Bridge collapsed in 2020 and Arvind Kejriwal had given umpteen press conferences, spent hundreds of crores of money on advertisement saying Minto Bridge ke liye credit Arvind Kejriwal ko jana chahiye. Within 72 hours, a part of the Minto Bridge collapsed and Arvind Kejriwal started blaming the Modi government and the media started playing along. And I want to ask, in 2016, there was a bridge collapse in Kolkata at Girish Park. Media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya. 2017, there was a bridge collapse at Jalpaiguri in West Bengal. Media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya. 2018, there was a bridge collapse at Majarhat in West Bengal. Media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya. 2019, there was a bridge collapse at Durgapur in West Bengal. Media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya. 2021, bridge collapse at Barakpur. Media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya. 2022, bridge collapse at Alipur and Diamond Harbour in West Bengal. Media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya.
No, that's a man.
2023, media ke muh mein Fevicol lag gaya when there was a bridge collapse at Malda.
So you're saying you see, this is the problem. When the Kolkata bridge collapse took place a few years ago, the media was equally critical of the state government there. I just want to, just a minute, ma'am. Just to tell you, just today another bridge has collapsed in Bihar. In fact, 13 new bridges have fallen down in Bihar in 2023 and 24. So we can go state by state. We can do water boundary, but let me get the others in. Akshay Marathi, you first respond. Aam Aadmi Party also surely has some responsibility when waterlogging takes place on the scale that it does in the national capital. as is being pointed out, when things go right, when you build a new bridge, you take all credit. When things don't go right, waterlogging, desilting not taking place, drainage systems not in place, you've got to take, the buck stops with you. You can't pass it on all the time to the Modi government.
Rajeevji, undoubtedly, anyone who is in elected government has to take responsibility, and to that extent, I accept the Aam Aadmi Party responsibility. But let's be honest about what's happening in our country. We are facing a national catastrophe when it comes to our infrastructure. You look at what happened to the Atal Setu, which was inaugurated right before the elections. It is already having severe damage. You look at the Ram Mandir roof. It is leaking because of heavy
There are
rainfall.
cracks on the side road. There are cracks on the side
that was
road in
just
Atal Setu,
inaugurated.
but go ahead.
Don't peddle fake
No,
news.
ma'am,
This
please
terminal
do
one
not
was just
interfere. I am
inaugurated in
anchoring
March
the
of
show,
this
you're
year,
not.
right
Go ahead.
before the Lok Sabha elections were announced. Even that terminal was inaugurated right before the elections, Rajdeepji. So we are facing a national crisis of infrastructure, and I think there are three things that we need to be talking about. Number one, the value of human life has been reduced to nothing today. The person who died today deserves to get at least 1 crore rupees. Their family deserves to get 1 crore rupees in compensation, because we cannot keep pointing fingers and assume that the people who are suffering do not deserve any kind of support from the government. In Morbi, right before the elections in Gujarat, 150 people died in a bridge collapse. We need to compensate these people for what has happened. And not only the government, it is the contractor who should be held accountable and compensated for these issues. Number two, Rajeevji, we need to take seriously the issue of climate change. We have a government that does not believe in climate change. Mr. Modi has on record said it is our tendency to not take intense heat. That is the cause of climate change. He doesn't believe in climate change. But the fact that we are facing severe rainstorms, we are facing severe weather conditions across the country, needs our infrastructure to be made resilient. We have to focus on sustainability and resilient infrastructure, and that is what requires some kind of national plan.
Right.
It cannot happen in a silo. It cannot happen at the level of cities and states. The central government has to prepare some kind of national plan when it comes to infrastructure. Number three, Rajdeepji, we have to ensure that politics cannot take over infrastructure. All the three projects, Atal Setu, Ram Mandir, and this Terminal 1 building, were inaugurated right before the Lok Sabha election. And I suspect that there was some level of hurry that was being pushed onto these contractors because the BJP government wanted to inaugurate before the election. How can we allow our infrastructure to go into the hands of
ma'am. Okay, for Atal Setu, let me say that the cracks that have developed are on a side road, not on the main bridge. Obviously, there are concerns. Any crack would be a concern, particularly during monsoon. Yes, there have been leakages during the at parts of the Ram Mandir. Abysmal condition also of Ayodhya's new roads. They've also got into waterlogging. Jabalpur airport has collapsed. We had the Pragati Maidan tunnel submerging. I mentioned 13 new bridges falling down in Bihar. We, of course, had the tragic Morbi bridge collapse. But, you know, the instinctive reaction Salman shows, ma'am, just a minute. The instinctive reaction Salman shows is to suggest that this is criminal negligence on part of the Modi government. You'll recall, it's not the first time that we've had these kind of infrastructure collapses. You all were in power for 10 years. There were occasions then when we've had similar infrastructure collapses. This instinctive tendency to call it criminal negligence and corruption and blame the government. Here the private operator, for example, in T1 is primarily responsible. It's his responsibility to ensure maintenance. They get paid a huge amount in terms of user fees by airport passengers, more than 1,000 crores a year.
Rajiv, first of all, today it was a big tragedy. You know, all of us use this airport. You do it, and I'm sure others on the panel do it. It could have been any one of us. I think it's a great tragedy for this family that they've lost a family member. You know, it's heartbreaking. But you know, yes, there is compensation, etc. But the real thing is there has to be accountability. We have to ask questions. We have to ask how these things happen. We cannot blame Pandit Nehru for all these things. I know the BJP spokesperson.
No, but how can you blame Narendra Modi also? You can't blame Pandit Nehru, but can we blame Narendra Modi every time there is a collapse?
Let me come to that. So when the government is in place, you have to ask this institution is part of the central government's regulatory preview. This is not something, this is not a private shop or something. Yes, there can be contracts to the private sector, but ultimately there's a regulatory authority, which is the government of India in this particular case. Something has happened, we need answers. And it's not shameful to ask questions, right? These are very serious things. My colleague from the Aam Aadmi Party raises one very important question. When we talk about infrastructure, we make big announcements. Like Prime Minister Modi announced that there would be 100 smart cities. By 2000, he said in the first 5 years, there'll be 100 smart cities. I don't know how many smart cities we have in India, but this does not give you confidence when you have something like this happening in the national capital. Now, are we politicizing these things in the sense that you have Netaji aa rahe hain, they're going to do some sort of an inauguration, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And I think we have some examples here. And it's fair to say the Jabalpur airport, just 3 months back, it was inaugurated by the Prime Minister. That roof has collapsed. This particular canopy is part of it's a new canopy, not part of the old structure, which, by the way, did bend but did not collapse.
Okay.
And then we know the Ram Mandir case, we know the Pragati Maidan case. So these things are there. So these are, the government.
Okay,
let me just finish.
Let her respond. Both of you.
Give me 10 seconds.
Both of you have made.
Finish.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish up. Finish
10
up.
seconds. So I'm just saying that, yes, these are there and the government has to answer. There is no question about that. Now, what should India be doing anyway in the long term? Look, climate change is a reality. Climate change is a reality. We cannot fight all the time. Our whole infrastructure ideology is very old. We need to work with nature. Otherwise, we are not going to be. These things are going to get worse. So we need new thinking about construction design.
That's hopefully a bipartisan issue of working with nature. It's not just about a political party. But Sanju Verma, both the other opposition parties are saying there's this haste and speed to put up projects at the earliest. Yes, the government in the last 10 years can claim justifiably that many projects that were held up have been fast forwarded. Atal Setu is a good example of a project that got fast forwarded. The worry is sometimes is there the rush to finish something and showcase it without it being fully complete. The Pragati Maidan tunnel, many believe, which got submerged, is an example of that. Is there that concern or not?
Rajdeep Sardesai, I first want to ask your cameraman or your producer to not mute me, because 2 minutes back you said put her fader down. It's very insulting when each time the BJP
you cannot speak over someone else. I have decided that. I will tell them the same thing. I will put their fader down if they speak over you. But go ahead. Please go ahead. I will do it.
If you want to be treated with respect,
no, ma'am. Again, you're getting into a situation which makes things uncomfortable for the viewer. I'm asking, is it so difficult to answer a question? I asked you a simple question, they made a charge, respond to it.
I will answer. I also noticed one thing, and your audience, Rajdeep Sardesai's audience, please realize and notice. He talks about level playing field. He has two people from the opposition. He did not interject them. He has only one from the BJP, and he keeps interjecting her. Now let me answer your question. With data I will answer. There has been an infrastructure boom under the Narendra Modi government. Gorakhpur Link Expressway, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, Chennai Metro, Chennai-Mysore Rail Corridor, Coimbatore Metro, Pune Metro, Nagpur Metro, Versova-Bandra Sea Link, Bogibeel Bridge, Bhupen Hazarika Setu, Atal Tunnel, Atal Setu, Chenab Bridge, Bundelkhand Expressway, Balia Link Expressway, Meerut Delhi RRTS Corridor, Ganga Expressway, which has kick-started, Noida International Airport, so on and so forth. So Modi government in 10 years has done what Congress could not do in 6 decades that it was in power. Pehla point to ye hai. Second point, the Congress, I always say, a great leader is somebody who does not build flaky castles in the air. He matches his grandiose vision with seamless execution. Congress started the Bogibeel Bridge, left it incomplete. Congress started the Bhupen Hazarika Setu, left it incomplete. Congress started the Chenab Bridge, left it incomplete. Congress started the Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, left it incomplete. Congress started the Bangalore.
They are claiming that you're completing them, but often doing them in a rush.
Now my last point is this. To the Aam Aadmi Party, and this I don't want to be interrupted. 2016, Delhi was grappling with dengue. Arvind Kejriwal was getting his throat treated for a minor throat infection at the Jindal Nature Care in Bengaluru. Last year when there were floods, between Atishi and Saurabh Bhardwaj, they handled more than a dozen ministries. Saurabh Bhardwaj said, हमसे ना हो पाएगा जी, ये हमारी गलती नहीं है, ये तो LG की गलती है. Whereas water, health, sanitation, PWD come under Arvind Kejriwal, not under LG. When Punjab was not under Aam Aadmi Party, each time there was parali burning in winters, ये कहते थे भाई हमसे ना हो पाएगा, दिल्ली में केजरीवाल को क्यों गलत ठहरा रहे हो, ये तो पंजाब की गलती है. Now since Bhagwant Mann of the Aam Aadmi Party is in power, अभी पराली burning का सारा दोष उत्तर प्रदेश को दिया जाता है. Today when Delhi is grappling with water scarcity, Kejriwal says हमसे ना हो पाएगा जी, ये हमारा दोष नहीं है, हरियाणा वालों को दोषी ठहराओ. And I want to ask you, Rajdeep, the last point. You always tell me take my tough questions. Today when Delhi is grappling with water scarcity, Atishi is more busy कि BP ऊपर गया या नीचे गया, ketone level ऊपर गया या नीचे गया.
Okay, you made all your points. Okay, producer, I am going to put the fader down because there's a time limit. Salman Soz, you are listening and you're putting a hand up. You want to respond. Let's be clear. The Modi government in the last 10 years can claim they've handled a lot of big ticket projects. We are singling out a few where maybe the button was pushed too fast without it being fully prepared. Some say with an eye on elections. But either way, that's an infrastructure push.
Rajdeep, we can list infrastructure projects, and that doesn't really do justice to the topic because there are hundreds of thousands of bridges and roads and other things that have been created. These guys don't know it because they're not good students of history. But I don't want to talk about them. The question is, what is the philosophy that is driving this government? You talk about these big ticket items. The question is, what kind of development is this? Is this really supporting the average person? Let's take railways, for example. Every time we have the Prime Minister going in, Vande Bharat Express nikal diya. We inaugurated a Vande Bharat Express. And Rajiv, you must have seen yourself. The audience sees every day. There are videos upon videos going viral of how there are people crammed into our trains these days. Crammed, literally crammed, because there's no capacity. Okay. Because they keep talking about, they have this propaganda machinery about how they're doing so world-class stuff, but for very few people, much of the country is suffering because these guys have a very old kind of, the way of thinking about infrastructure is very old-fashioned.
So you're saying that it's not people-friendly. That's the point. Akshay Marathe.
If it was people-friendly, then you would not have these scenes.
Okay.
While Sanjeev Verma was speaking, you would not have these scenes on television of people grappling with this severe flooding in Delhi.
Okay, these scenes have been seen to be fair for the last 40, 50 years, but Akshay Marathe, respond. Ma'am, put up no cross-talk. Akshay Marathe, respond. Tell me what the Aam Aadmi Party is going to do to change things. You can't constantly pass the buck.
No, Rajiv ji, did you hear me pass the buck even once? I think we are taking responsibility for when it comes to Delhi. In fact, if you remember, for the last 3 years, the usual visual of the Minto Bridge where water used to get logged underneath was not happening. This year, it has come back and it is a problem. We will take care of it. Today, our ministers sat down with every single department across the governments. We even called MCD. We even called, departments that don't actually come under us, even though we have no power over them. And we have sat down with them and prepared an emergency campaign to make sure that this doesn't continue. We have also seen historic rainfall in Delhi today. Remember, this was the worst rainfall in one 24-hour period in almost 83 years. So we are facing a natural catastrophe, and obviously the infrastructure that was built is not prepared to handle that, and something needs to be done on a national scale for it. To the extent that the Aam Aadmi Party is doing its work, we take responsibility. But let me make one quick large point, Rajdeep ji. We need a national government that wants to work collaboratively with all governments. Instead, what we have is a government that arrests chief ministers. It completely disables the elected government of Delhi. It takes away the powers of the Delhi government. And then it comes on national television debates and says, what is Aam Aadmi Party doing? Why were they celebrating when the parliament took away the powers of the Delhi government? Why were they celebrating when the central government took away all the powers of the elected government of Delhi? Now you cannot come to these television debates and say that, every responsibility is with you, but the power is with the BJP.
Akshay, you make a strong point. You talk about the need to ensure a federal compact. Just a minute, ma'am. Please, where states are also empowered and government, the center is collaborative with states rather than antagonistic. I will give you 30 seconds on the clock, Sanju Verma, to a question that troubles me. One of my home states is Goa. Panjim is a smart city. If you ever go to Panjim for the last 2 years, all you see is the streets are dug up and really the city doesn't seem very smart. Has this smart city concept exploded in your face? Just as you've had successes, would you concede that the smart city concept, and I'm putting some numbers, has been a disaster?
Can I answer?
Yes, 30 seconds.
Now, Akshay Marathe made a long speech replete.
No, first you answer my smart city question, then you can respond to it.
I will answer. Rajveer, do not be intolerant.
No, I want an answer to smart city.
I will answer. Do not second guess me. Do not put a gun to my head.
Okay.
You are an anchor. I am a panelist. Please learn to
relax. Relax. Please.
Thank you. First, I will answer the allegations by Aam Aadmi Party. You sit here and say that the Modi government has disabled Kejriwal. The Modi government has sent Kejriwal to jail. Akshay Marathe, aapko sharm nahi aati? The Delhi High Court and the Supreme Court have refused to give Kejriwal bail in the liquor scam.
Okay, you made the point. You made the point. You made the point. You made that point in the past. The fact is, I asked you about smart city project. Please respond.
I will respond. You did not interject anyone. I will respond. Do not interject. Thank you. Now talking of smart cities, I knew Rajdeep Sardesai will ask this question. Sanju Verma, aapne ye nahi kiya, wo nahi kiya. So let me tell you this. I went through the report of the United Nations Center for Regional Development, UNCRD, and I was surprised to know the UNCRD says that amongst the top 10 cities in the world, Indore is the cleanest. Amongst the top 10 cities in the world, Bhopal and Ahmedabad are the greenest. Among the top 10 cities in the world, Pune is the most high-tech emerging smart city. Amongst the top 10 smart cities in the world, Jaipur is the smartest heritage city. Amongst the top 10 smart cities in the world, Nagpur is the fastest growing smart city. And
okay.
What did the report say? One very interesting point. They said that this should be a textbook case. It was a waste yard. It was a dump yard. It was a garbage dump yard. What am I talking of? I'm talking of Sabarmati. And today, thanks to Narendra Modi, the Sabarmati waterfront is an epitome of good governance. Iski baat karo pehle.
Okay. You're saying the glass is half full. Your critics say it's half empty. We've heard Sanju Verma, we've heard Salman Soos, we've heard Akshay Marathe. What we want is accountability when things go wrong. Governments pat themselves on the back, and rightly so, when things go right. They must also have the courage to accept when things go wrong.